Hello, and welcome back to Always Off Brand, where we take e-commerce and we simplify it for ya. I am your co-host, Summer Chevalier, along with Scott Oshman.
We are live at eTail Summer. Your first time here in Palm Springs. Not Palm Springs, at eTail.
It's my first time seeing you do a turtle dance to our music. Your head was just a bobbin, and I am like trying to keep a straight face. It was hard for me to even do the opening.
Really?
Normally, because normally I see it on camera.
It's very professional.
And it's more like, it looks like that, like your little head up.
Now
in person, it's like.
If you're not watching on the YouTube, Summer is nodding to our guest.
Not just nodding, but like.
He's feeling it. He's feeling that California vibe. Just
I guess.
let him go. Let him go.
Absolutely. Jaime Clapper here from Oatey.
Yes.
Okay, not the drink, people.
Not Oatey.
Not Oatly. Oatey.
OT.
Is that how you say it?
Oatey.
Oatey.
Oatey. I like Oatey. That's a good dog name. Speaking of dogs.
Yeah.
My dad does ask that question a lot. He's like the dog, and I'm like, no, Dad, the plumbing company.
She might be in the market for a dog. We don't know. 3-cat situation, I'm heard. I told.
Yes. 3 cats, two orange ginger twins.
Oh, you have an orange cat. That's
and I
fun.
have one tabby girl. The girl is the queen, of course. The orange ones have orange cat energy, sweet and sour.
They're just naughty all the time, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah,
they are.
We
But
have
I love
one.
them.
My daughters have one, Cheddar.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Haley Brucker.
No, well, Haley Brooker is a redhead. She's a ginger.
I do love the name because mine are Colby and Jack.
Oh my God!
So we got
seriously?
cheeses amongst all of
that.
us.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
Colby and Jack and
fantastic.
Cheddar.
We didn't even plan that.
Sounds like an opening to a joke.
It is.
Well, I'm stoked because we don't have a lot of manufacturers that come onto the pod, and you have such a different perspective on what's happening in retail and how to manage being on marketplaces, but also being a manufacturer. So let's dive into it because I'm really pumped
You're
to
so
have you on today.
professional, Summer. Your intro is professional. Good Lord.
She is very professional.
God, she is
I love
so
the intro.
good.
You are on it.
She's
She's
on
the
it.
glue.
Stop.
She is the glue. Go ahead with your question.
She's known me for 30
I
seconds.
know. I can already see it.
This is great.
I'm very good on reading energy, and I see it.
You are. I got bad energy.
Not bad energy, just a little chaotic.
So if we set the stage, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, manufacturers were selling to distributors, getting their product out there. They manage more of a B2B. And now manufacturers with Dan was just on here a minute ago talking about how easy it is to get on to Amazon, get onto marketplaces. Now you're selling directly to the customer, to the end customer on these different marketplaces. Can you kind of explain that evolution? And I can only assume at your company, like there's a strong DNA, like we are manufacturers, we're not B2C. How does that get managed at your company?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in my current role for about 2 years now, and it's been a whirlwind of kind of learning that space a little bit more. So historically, I came from that B2C, D2C side. So when I came into B2B for a lighting company a few years back, that was like my first intro. And I will say, I think lighting is a little bit further evolved than plumbing.
Well, I think Pinterest,
Pinterest
did a lot for HGTV, did a lot for
Oh
lighting.
God, I love that hometown. Those guys in what's I love that.
Mississippi.
Yeah, Laurel, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Big Ben.
Yes.
He's hysterical.
Big Ben and Aaron.
Yes, they're fabulous.
It's a great
new
show.
season out, by the way.
Yeah. Shameless plug there.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, and Oatey, we already explained what Oatey is.
Yeah, so they're a plumbing company based out of Cleveland, Ohio. Very well recognized brand.
Oh, yeah.
Family owned. Been around for some time. We manufacture at several different locations. We have a Cleveland facility. Then we have a bunch of distribution centers.
Mm-hmm.
So really, historically, Oatey started as more of that wholesale side of the business, moved into retail for brick and mortar.
There you go.
And then, from there, e-commerce was kind of that third channel of how do we start to integrate more? So, it's always wild to say in 2025, you're still trying to navigate what e-commerce is or why it's important. But, plumbing, again, people, it's kind of like mattresses. It's like cars. Like people never thought they'd probably buy plumbing online. And the evolution has just kind of propelled it of all these opportunities.
Isn't there a car brand that's getting on Amazon
Yeah,
this
Hyundai.
year? Yeah, they're
Hyundai,
I'm going to talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, Hyundai just announced. I just got something else from Amazon today about like Grubhub. Like it was like order on Grubhub now, and I was like,
yeah, they have an incentive or some promo. I can't keep up with all of them. They're going crazy. But hey, I remember again. I'm old enough to know this, seasoned enough. people could not imagine buying a shoe online.
Right.
Right. Then Zappos came out and changed everything. And then everybody's like, nobody's going to buy apparel online.
Right.
Boom.
Exactly. I was just having this conversation earlier with the gentleman from Sam's Club, because it's the same concept. It's like you feel like kind of like you're on a hamster wheel a bit of like explaining why e-commerce is important, but every year it changes. And you know, I always take it back. I always force folks that I'm talking to. I said, all right, take a step back. Raise your hand if you have the Amazon app. Raise your hand if you shop on Amazon.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you use any type of buy online, pick up in store. Like, you kind of make it relatable to their everyday life for them to start to understand it. And so what we're seeing, you know, in the B2B side of things is, you know, Amazon is the giant. So if you're not a player on Amazon, you're missing out. We have folks
gonna
like
get a bell. Keep going. I'll just try and get these in.
Okay, get your bell. If you're not playing on Amazon, you're missing out. But can you help me understand the line between just selling your product to a distributor and letting them sell it on Amazon versus you doing it directly?
So that's, again, where the channels have been somewhat siloed, I'd say, at my current organization.
Okay.
We've done a ton of work over the last couple of years, and even prior to myself starting to start to integrate a little bit more. Have, instead of that multi-channel feel, you have that omni-channel feel and how you bring it together. So I don't want to say no one was paying attention to the fact that they're selling on Amazon from the distributor side, but I think it's coming more and more to light as we start to do more with Amazon, and that 3P arena gets larger and larger and larger. And then we're trying to understand what does that look like for the organization? Like, how do we start to build in those relationships where we have really great distributor partners?
Yeah, long time.
And they're selling, you know, at no fault, they're selling on Amazon in the 3P space. But then we're seeing a lot of them too also start to, you know, create their own websites. So now they want to sell on their websites. We do a ton to support them, from content, you know, reviews. We have those conversations with them. So to your point, like the evolution, we start to get in and say, what are your capabilities? Like, what are you guys able to do?
Right.
Because it's such a range. I mean, like any e-commerce, or I should say any company trying to get into e-commerce, it's a range, right?
Yeah.
There's some that are at the beginning. There's some that are super sophisticated.
Yep.
And then there's a ton that are probably still in the middle along that line. And so for us, it's understanding and trying to partner with them. What does this e-commerce business look like for you guys? How can we support, especially being very cognizant of our brand, right?
Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. So you have a first party relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vendor central relationship.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, there's all these third party contributions. All of a sudden the product detail pages, and like, that's not right. That's not wrong. Then you got the bot, then you got this. I mean, I know you deal with it in some regards. Yeah. I mean, how's that going, Jaime?
Yeah. That's a very loaded question. If my team's listening, they're like, oh God, please don't answer that.
You need both. What I'm saying is you need both.
You need both with controls in place.
Yes.
So what are some of the controls that you're putting in place or trying to?
I would say trying.
Yes.
Attempting. That's also great. I would say, you know, looking at those policies, how do we put those in place on who's selling our product? So, you know, at my prior organization, that was a big push too. The 3P space became a little bit of the wild, wild west, and how do we navigate it? And so you put authorized seller policies in place. You start to navigate hey, I need you to fill out this form. Do you guys take returns? How much business do you plan on doing through our organization? And then from there, it's almost like a checklist. Yeah. And you're grading them as to whether or not you want them to be able to sell the product in the future.
Yeah, but let's be clear. Most manufacturers do not do this. So the fact that you're even talking about it is huge.
Absolutely.
Well, is being a manufacturer independent rep for 20 years. The problem, the challenge is you go to the sales guy, they're doing their job, by the way.
100%.
And they're sitting there like, I'm sorry, you're asking me because of the rules that are in the big picture, the best for the brand, right? Nobody's at fault here.
Yep.
Everyone wants the same outcome, but at the same point, like, I'm sorry, Jaime, I can't miss my number by that much for the month.
Correct.
Okay? Because you know what? I make a living off that number. My compensation, whatever the case is, the incentive, I'm so sorry that you want the brand to be right and you want to get the buy box. I'm really sorry about that, but I can't give up $250,000 a month.
Right. Absolutely.
So pound sand came, Jamie.
Yeah. Oh,
I am not doing it.
100%. I mean, I think there's that desire on their side where they want to learn it because they are hearing it more.
Yes.
So they're out there having those meetings, and it's constantly like the Amazon. And to your point, they're out there doing all this work. We don't want to discredit the work that the sales guys are doing, the reps are doing to support our brand. But at the end of the day, they also don't want, that person probably going to Amazon and then kind of poof, you did all this work. And then if they have an issue, then they go right back to the rep or the salesperson and say, I have this issue. I purchased it off Amazon. So it's a vicious cycle, and it's like trying to break it to understand how they're still getting credit, but also how they're embracing, I think, the evolution of that shopping experience.
Because they're going to a distributor, and the first thing the distributor do when they want to sell something, they go on Amazon and they go, well, here it's you got it listed at this. I can't make any money at that.
Yep.
So this is just like you said, it's good luck.
Yeah. Well,
Can you give Jamie anyone tips that's listening to this?
Yeah.
Like, what is something that you've learned and found success with doing this?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is that collaboration internally. So start building those partnerships. I mean, especially I will say, coming from the channels being siloed, there is a lot of great work happening where like partnerships are emerging. I have my friends on supply chain side. I have my friends in customer service.
Yes.
Shout out to my amazing team that puts up with everything that comes our way. We just implemented a new ERP last year. So
oh my goodness. I mean, you mentioned that on
they
have
been through the trenches, and they are still here supporting the business. So I would say build those internal relationships. But also create that vision. What does that vision look like? But don't just make it your own in the sense of you're not taking others' opinions into that, ask. So I don't want to go out and say, this is Jamie's vision of e-com. Right. Like you said, pound sand for whatever you guys thought.
Yeah.
No, I want to have those conversations. I want to understand why there's concerns or why you think this is a great idea or why you're like, absolutely not, Jamie, you're crazy. We can't do this.
So it kind of goes back to our conversation we were just having this morning, which is like checking your ego.
Yeah, absolutely.
And being a collaborative partner and what that looks like and doing like what's best for the business, not just like what's best for you.
Well, and I think I always go back to everyone is brought into a role at an organization for a reason, right? Yeah. Like you're good at what you do.
Yeah.
I don't try to say I'm an expert on the wholesale distribution side of the business.
Right.
There are guys and gals on that side that 100% are. My goal is to come to them to say, this is what we're seeing, and vice versa. I have my e-commerce digital spin on it. They have their spin on it. And then we kind of marry those two up to be able to come up with a solution to the problem. So
as someone who's lived through this, doing this, it is possible. There are ways to do this. It takes, like you said, silos equal sadness. That's what we always say here. And you got to get everybody in the room what you're doing. And then you have to align incentives. You have to get the leaders of each department that are doing their job. And you have to figure out on a spreadsheet, how this thing's going to get to where we want to go.
Absolutely.
And the other big thing, it takes a long, long time. These are relationships in businesses that are probably decades long.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
So it takes forever. Again, shout out to you guys because it's a lot of work. It is possible, and it comes in little baby tiny victories.
And I think we see it in, we have VOC a lot of times. We actually have a group of folks that are called Oatey ambassadors. So they are true plumbers by trade, it's an amazing concept that our marketing team leads.
A Desire company.
Hey now, look at you, matchmaker, make me a match.
All right,
Sing me a song.
What does that mean?
So the Desire company, take it away.
So
Summer.
the Desire company works with experts in the field that are also influencers, but they don't need to have 1 million followers. Maybe they just have 10 or 15,000, but they are the expert. And then they not only create like a social campaign with them, but then take creative that you can use everywhere on Amazon, Walmart, wherever it is. You can share it with your manufacturer. You can share it with your distributors that they can have on their site. And it's someone talking to the camera that's a true expert
that's
in
a
this
plumber.
space.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about like you have these plumbers that are
these
experts.
ambassadors. Yep.
These are the people that Desire company wants to find to work with.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. No, we do a ton of content. Like people wouldn't expect that for a plumbing company.
I know.
We also have a podcast too. So not to give you guys
no
any
plug
pressure.
it. No plug it.
We're happy to join it.
The Fix.
The
The
Fix.
Fix,
Yeah.
perfect podcast.
Hosted by
name for it.
Jaime Clapper. Is it hosted
It is
by
not
you?
hosted by myself.
Okay,
It
but
is
you wanted to have your own podcast.
one day, but I don't know if I'm going to talk about plumbing. I might talk about cats. You never know.
Yeah.
But no, so we do a ton of amazing content
That
to
is
be able to
great.
support. But like,
Can you ding this really quick? Because
Yes,
again, we were just on our
God.
last podcast talking about how does someone, you need to make a brand for yourself.
Yeah.
mhm.
And if you sell lanyards, how can you make a brand? You're selling plumbing, and like that's not sexy,
Right,
And you
right.
turned it into something fun
Oh,
and
yeah.
creative. Like that is huge.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is how you get success on Amazon. That is how
Absolutely.
you get success on these other channels.
Well, it creates that visibility to it. And then we can hear firsthand how they're shopping, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, a lot of them do have those relationships with those wholesale counters, but they're
Yeah.
the first ones to say, hey, time is money for them. Obviously, they're doing these jobs. So if they don't have a part and there's a Home Depot or a Lowe's or a Menards or wherever down the road,
Oh, God,
they're going to
bless.
pop in
Go
and get
Menards.
it there.
I grew up at Menards in Cedar
Yeah.
Rapids, Iowa.
Yeah.
God, the pool was right behind it.
11% rebate.
I tell you,
Can't
every
beat
10
that.
years, the smell of asphalt. They redo the the driveway and the parking lot. Great
This is
memories.
a Midwest thing.
It is.
It
It's a
is.
Menards
It is.
thing. It's a Menards thing. Okay.
Okay.
You wouldn't understand.
My West Coast self does not understand.
Anyway, but yeah, they're consumers, right? They're
Yeah.
like, I need a part and I need it by tomorrow, and I want to get it. Convenience is a huge part of it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. And what makes it unique, I remember it's always kind of interesting when you come into that B2B space, because especially for products that can meet a range of folks. So I always like, there's the DIYer, there's the Joe Schmo trying to do a plumbing job at
Matt,
home.
the engineer.
But then you have a contractor who they do this every day. And then
Right.
you have, what Lowe's and Depot term a pro
Yeah.
shopper. So you have this wide range. So it's also, you try to find that happy medium between providing information that's relevant to all of those folks, but also like, you don't want to downplay like that the contractors don't have, the education to be able to, like, they're like, Jamie, we don't need this type of content. Like, so
I
it's like,
see.
You're making them like they're experts in their field.
yeah,
Don't dumb it
yeah.
down.
So it's like,
Yeah.
how
Don't
do
give
we,
me the how-to.
right. So
Don't
that's,
give me the Scotty lesson that I
Right.
need on the YouTube.
but then you have the DIYer that
No,
might
you have
need
the
it.
HGTV
So yes,
watchers like I can do
Yes.
this myself.
exactly. So it's really interesting to understand that dynamic too,
That's a
which I think is constantly evolving, right? So
That
it's
sounds like job security to me.
you know what? Well, I feel like content is king.
Yeah.
Data's king. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're not supplying that, you're not going to last, right?
Yes.
So-
I knew the ding was coming.
Yes, you're not
Now,
going to
see,
last.
this is no fun. When we were to record, she can't see when I'm going to go to the sound effect board. Now
Well, I was
she
gonna
can.
hit you like do the ding. I can't
She's like
hit you.
throwing up codes.
Okay,
She's
but-
like,
So your Amazon biz,
Yeah.
it's going well?
yeah,
Good.
it is going extremely well.
And
How many-
you sell on Vendor Central, so
We
first
sell on-
party. Do you
yep.
do anything on 3P or just direct to Amazon?
We do direct to Amazon. We also are on that B2B side.
Yeah.
We work with an agency that supports us to be able to do everything that Amazon needs, because as you guys know, and I'm sure all the folks you talk to, ecom is usually a small team,
Yeah.
small and mighty.
Yes.
We're nimble, we're scrappy. So, we have an agency that helps support us on that business, but
Fabulous.
it's there. The demand is there.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot of the digging in of understanding, because I think at times everyone's done this, right? It's like the endless aisle mentality. Like, we're going to put all these SKUs out
I was
there.
just going there.
Like-
I was like, how do you manage 8 trillion?
Sorry, they have a sign going by that says
we-
snack
I know, we
station.
had-
I almost just stood up and followed the
I
man.
know we have snacks and coffee and tea sign come by.
I
earlier.
know.
I was about to
He's
stop
walking
that
by
guy.
with a protein bar.
So
Yeah.
you are SKU intensive. I can't
We
even
are.
imagine the amount of SKUs that you're trying to manage and the ASINs and the.
Yeah.
I mean, it's how do you even talk to me? Talk to me, Goose.
I mean, a lot of it is utilizing that data agency or the agency data that they give us, where they're telling us these categories are performing X amount over last year, and then
Okay.
you start to dial in. Even for our side, it's understanding that demand. So we've had kind of a wild ride on the e-commerce side. So Oatey, I think, started e-com maybe like 2017.
Okay.
So
Wow.
not that long ago,
Yeah, not that- no.
to really start to get behind it.
Yeah.
Amazon obviously was a major customer right off the rip.
Yeah.
Let's all talk 2020. 2020 exploded all e-com business.
Yeah.
And then, as a manufacturer, there were obviously price increases that quickly followed. And
Right.
Amazon being Amazon is like, we're not taking these price increases. So they had to turn a lot of SKUs off. So I came in
Ding, ding, ding.
to this mixture.
Turning SKUs
God,
off.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
So
Go ahead.
bossy.
It's the only way it gets done.
I love this. She should just be the dinger
She
at this
should be the
point.
dinger.
Give me the ding.
She's
me the
like, give me a
dinger."
clicker. I can do this.
I got to get a remote control. Put that, Matt, the
I love
engineer, if
this.
you're listening, which he doesn't, put that on the list. Can we order that from Amazon?
Okay, so SKUs got turned off because
Yes.
of pricing. This is a huge problem.
Major.
Yes, absolutely. So coming in, that's not long after I came into that.
Yeah.
I was like, what's happening? Like
Right.
we've seen sales like do. So I keep kind of
Listener,
saying
that was a visual of crashing. Mayday.
yeah, I need a
crashing sound
crashing
effect.
sound if you
Yeah,
could
I
add
don't-
that.
Well, I have this one. I have just a buzzer. I mean, but this is, yeah.
Sure, no.
that's-
Okay,
We'll-
so
we'll take
you
it.
Come in.
Oh, I got this one. This is a good one. Damn.
She's being very kind to you.
She is being so patient.
Yeah.
It's
So you
fine.
come in and you're like, sales are crashing. You dig in and it's because Amazon turned them off.
Yeah.
Or you guys turned them off.
We turned them
because you
off because
couldn't-
they wouldn't take the price
But that
increase.
is huge because
It
you
is
know how
huge.
many brands will not turn off their SKUs and just lose money?
Yeah.
and
Well,
We're
like
going to the
that.
right, to the
Sure.
left.
So
Sorry.
how did you fix this?
Yeah.
so we really started to honestly it gave an opportunity to look at that profitability. So the
Yes.
SKUs that we
Oh.
did turn off, what was truly profitable out of those SKUs,
Yep.
what was still valuable to continue to sell. And then from there, at the time then, price decreases were happening, things were starting to fall back into place. Like it's like the ever changing pricing
Yeah.
strategy. Not any tariffs on the way or anything like that. That will also be another challenge in the future, but really focusing on the SKUs that we're going to make the biggest impact.
Yeah.
Getting those back up, checking the product pages. Do they have reviews? Are we doing paid media behind them? Do we have inventory to support? So kind of building that all out. Now, luckily, building those partnerships across the organization helped because then we have contacts in supply chain. We're able to get inventory. Because again, as a company that sees wholesale as this really big deal and then retail as a really big deal. And in all fairness, they should. They are the bread and butter.
Built the business.
They are driving the largest,
Yep.
Yeah.
from a sales perspective. And then you have little e-com coming in being like, hey guys, we need inventory. It's a change of mindset for
Yes.
everyone in that
And
organization.
let me get. We just did ERP changeover. So do you have a allocation system? Is it first in, first out? Like again, this is a problem for manufacturers when they sell to retail and distributors. If the order comes in and it's the latest one, that's what goes out.
Yeah.
So the forecasting and the allocation, this is a nightmare.
Yeah. It makes it tough too. There's been some cleanup, I'll say that, with the transition to ERP. So back orders, things that might be held up. I think it's also everyone is learning the systems. So in different departments in our distribution centers, they're trying to understand how the system flows so that they're able to keep product.
Yeah, those POs
moving.
come on Sunday night. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, should I ship it or?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've even, again, it's educating the organization. I mean, we've even
Yeah.
had several kind of, I'll say, Amazon best practices that we host and we run to have those conversations of like, yeah, these are their guidelines. Yes, we need to follow them. If we do
I
ship
know.
late, like that's problematic.
Yeah.
We may
Mhm.
not get paid. Like it's a crazy concept, but
More beverage stations.
Sorry, I'm just saying
Beverage.
that's my Mormon sign. There's a soft beverage station.
there's the coffee and
Coffee and
tea.
tea.
Soft
Snack
beverage
station.
station. Interesting. I don't,
Maybe
yeah,
they could
you're
just
talking
set that
about
up right over here.
Yeah.
Where are you guys
right
going?
here.
Yeah.
We'll get you on the show. We got a mic available.
I won't bite.
So, Jamie, what you've done is just amazing. Like this is really hard. This is hard
Very
to change
hard.
the mentality of the manufacturer, the senior people, the budgets. Like all of this is just good gracious.
It's a lot. I love that it's not the same thing day in, day out.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what's helped me like in my
And
career in
you got
e-com.
product cost raises, no problem, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, easy. Just
I mean,
file a
honestly,
ticket.
at this point, you go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
it is what it is. You got to be able to navigate. It's not going to go away overnight, but that's kind of why we're in the roles we're in, is to be able to support it and do what we can.
So let's pivot here. I was trying to think of a good plumbing joke.
Oh, hey now.
But I couldn't come up with one.
Well, in the ancient Grecian times, summer, a plumber. I don't have anywhere to go with that.
Scott mentioned that you're doing some advertising.
Yeah.
Talk about that on Amazon a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, great partners with our agency.
Yeah, who's the agency? We're
Marshall Associates.
Great. Marshall Associates, love them. Go for it.
Yeah.
We are never heard of them.
Okay, good.
They're good people.
They're good.
I love working with them.
We're pro agency. Any agency is good. It's
yeah.
all good.
I mean, and honestly, there's days I feel bad for them because they're always coming to us with this data and all these changes. They're like, you guys could do so much more. And I'm like, I know we can, but we gotta crawl before we can walk, before we can run.
You know what?
So
8 to 10% over year. It's okay not to grow that fast.
Yeah. I mean,
it is.
Yeah.
Because it's long range. It's a gondola.
Yeah.
It depends.
I know you're like, let's go 50% tomorrow. Let's get it.
It depends on what your goals are.
Well, I usually do that. You can throw out whatever number you want to throw out as long as there's inventory to support it and I can ship.
Oh,
let's do it.
Don't get me started on inventory.
You want a budget for that?
Because like you said, it's difficult. It's hard to change mentalities, but at the end of the day, it's a simple concept.
It is.
Give me the inventory. Let's have things priced the way we need them priced. Let's have some content and let's ship.
Yeah.
So
your ads, how did you start out? So it sounds like you're still growing them.
Still growing them. Doing a ton, again, through our agency to support different campaigns, different categories that focus on really where that growth is, those profitable ones.
Are you in search so much right now, just in the PPC, the pay-per-click situation?
Yeah, absolutely. We also started to test some things on that Amazon B2B side too. So they are doing a little bit more.
I want some pro tips, Jamie.
Yeah,
I need some pro tips.
I was gonna say
on Amazon.
I don't have any pro tips yet. What? We just kicked it off, I would say in the last month and a half. But I will say ROAS is beautiful.
So she's got to be back on, is what she said.
Yeah.
Hey there.
We're gonna give you 6 months.
We gotta have you again if this goes well. If this goes okay and we pass the second test, Jamie.
Oh, I thought you meant if I did okay this first time.
No, we'd love to have you back because I'm fascinated by this topic. I think I told you, this is a sleeping giant that does $1 trillion. They don't report on their earnings call. When they talk about retail sales and store sales, it's hidden down there. Yeah. It's like the old advertising when they don't report out. It's a monster.
Absolutely.
And they don't even
pay
attention really to it.
It's minimal. I hate to say it's minimal work on our side, but it's really minimal work on our side. A lot of it is just that duplicated. We have the product pages out there.
Yeah.
I mean, some folks are doing more on the discounts and things like that. We haven't even entered that arena yet.
Do you struggle at all with the B2B though? Do you have limitations on how many units they can order with the thought of they would just buy it B2B and then go resell it on Amazon?
Yeah, that's common.
Summer, I would say we probably haven't thought about that one yet. We were just trying to enjoy the fact that we were driving sales on
that is a 2026 problem. That's a 2026 problem.
Why are you ruining the buzz right now? I mean, come on.
Can I get the crash sound or the date?
The ROAS is good.
I know. I came off of such a high.
Sorry.
Anyway. I mean, just speaking from experience there.
But yeah, I think it's absolutely a challenge. I think even the 3P space on Amazon is still a challenge. We don't have our arms wrapped around it. I'll be the first to admit that. But
find me someone who does, Jamie.
The last thing I'm able to do is, roll out these extravagant policies when we've just had a kind of a rough year with introducing an ERP. So, it's we got to get that in place. We got to get the wheels turning fully again, which we are. We're getting there.
And are you in charge of D2C as well? Are you trying to build that up, or are you kind of backed off on that?
No plans for D2C anytime soon. Our website again is research driven a lot, the where to buy functionality. Yeah. So, right now, again, I think one of the top go-tos is Amazon on where to buy. No surprise there. But yeah,
I don't think you're missing. I'm not saying that you're missing some massive revenue stream. I'm just saying, because again, I think it's fun to talk to people in this situation because I was in the outdoor industry, which was way behind. And then you went into even like more sporting goods, like hunt and fit. They were like 5 years behind. Like it's fun because we've already lived a lot of these pains of going from a manufacturer with a wholesale distribution, distributors, moving this way. It's a journey,
right,
Jamie? It's a real journey.
Well, and I think it's the understanding, right? Because I think there's always fears and concerns, right? You know, it's like I kind of chalk it up like social commerce and like using your social media platforms as a brand to call out where you might sell products online. I feel like, not that it's taboo, but I think there's always that fear or concern of, you know, one customer is going to get mad because another customer was featured. But like the size of social commerce, the mobile shopping is insane.
So that's interesting. So are people buying Oatey stuff off their app, off the app, mobile?
I mean, we don't have an app.
I mean, on Amazon even.
On Amazon, yeah,
you see your
absolutely.
mobile traffic?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah.
Who doesn't?
Okay. Listener, if you could see her face right now, if you're not watching on the YouTube.
Scott, do you have the mobile app on your phone?
I do, Jamie.
Scott, have you shopped on Amazon in the last week?
Yes, I have, Jamie.
Welcome to 2025.
Thank you so much.
Yes. No, absolutely.
But we have, so in my little candy business, which is a bulk candy business, we sell to businesses, most of the businesses. And what's interesting, they're one of the unicorn. I get this. Most of our traffic still comes from desktop rather than mobile.
Really?
What's your average age of your consumer buying?
I don't know.
There you go.
There's someone.
I was gonna say, are they Werther's originals? What are we?
It's Dum Dums. They're Ohio-based company out of Bryan, Ohio. Go see the.
Do you love Dum Dums?
Yes, Dum Dums are good.
I don't know. You know, outside of Halloween. Sorry, we're moving on.
Yeah, let's not get. Okay, but so to market to mobile, to market, you're doing advertising. You're just getting your legs going. I love this.
Yeah,
it's good. You're gonna have a big upside for a long time.
Absolutely.
Nice job out of you. Nice spot. You picked it right, Jamie.
Yeah. Wow.
You're gonna get.
I hope. I mean, honestly, I always say it's a challenge, but I like the challenge.
Yeah.
I think it's more fun to come into an organization that wants that growth and hasn't hit it yet. Like that to me is more fun.
I also think we can't downplay enough how much you said during this pod of education.
Oh gosh.
Educating the team. Educating the team over and over again.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I said I bring it back to people and like how they shop, like how you shop in your personal life, like that. Think of that.
Yeah.
Like when you're trying to understand why e-commerce matters. You know, I played the game of what have you purchased online that you thought you'd never be able to purchase online.
There you go.
Like I said, we talked about mattresses. We talked about cars.
I might cut this next section out. So, Jamie, here's a little tip here. If you're going to, like, don't get them addicted to return on ad spend. Don't get them addicted to the ROAS because they're going to live with that. And that's going to come back to bite you. Maybe I'm telling you stuff you already know.
Your hand goes up and blocks the entire video.
Wait. I should block myself out. Anyway.
Yeah, I heard her say ROAS with B2B. And
I know. Did you? Yeah. Yeah, I know because you get taught that again, no fault of them. That's how the metric that everybody looks at, the CFO, that everybody who's they're like, well, the ROAS is good, so we should, and you're like, wait a minute, there's more to it.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you've already done that because you're past experience.
And I think some of it too, like with that, to your comment on educating, like my team is focused on like what kind of reporting do we start to share?
Yeah.
Continue to share.
Oh, I do hide
Don't
reports.
Share.
Because I'm like, if I send this report, they're going to think things are blowing up and they're actually doing quite well. And I do not have the time to explain this to them. So I'm just going to give them the pretty numbers.
It's all the different terms too. Yes. Like that's, some of my wholesale guys will say, Jamie, I don't know what these terms mean.
Right.
I'm like,
that's what we try to do.
You don't have to.
Well, like,
Jamie, tell them to listen to the show.
Don't try to get them to the return on ad spend on Meta versus Amazon is going to be very different. If we're doing top of funnel, because I'll send out a report and it's talking about top of funnel, and then the response I'll get from like a senior leader is, "Why is the return 0.50?" I'm like, because it's.
I always love impressions.
Yeah,
it's right up there when people are like, "Look at how many impressions," and I'm like,
Scott's favorite is attribution.
Bullshit is what I call it. Because it's really not fully cooked yet. There's a lot of smart people working on that, but let's just be honest.
No, I'm never going to look at that word ever the same again. Thank you. I love that.
Okay, we got to get you out of here.
Yeah.
We got to get you going.
Well,
How
it's been
this is your
fun.
first pod ever? It wasn't
Yeah,
too bad, was it?
It was great.
You did
I am
good.
so excited to be here.
It's
Thank you
fabulous.
for joining
This
us.
is fun. Yeah.
Can't wait to have you back on.
I
to hear
know.
some
We got to
I know.
hear. I want to go to B2B. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I mean,
I don't know when this is coming out, but we're going to moderate. I'm get the
Yeah.
pleasure of moderating a panel. I don't remember what we're doing. I got a couple other. We're doing
Amazon.
I know, but managing
Shocker.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Are you guys on it
Something-
together?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
cute.
and a couple other people.
I'm on the
Now you
firing
know how to
squad
handle
side. Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
No, I'll be much more reserved. I'll be play nice.
I think it'll be good.
She's gonna be heckling me.
No.
Probably.
Because
He's-
why,
he's-
Scott? Why won't I be heckling
Because
you?
people matter.
That's
Summer.
right. And you are listening to Always
Aw.
Brand. Please like, please subscribe, please share.
Bye. Want to say goodbye, Jamie?
Goodbye.
Hey there, this is Haley from Quickfire, and they want me to read this so you know what this podcast is part of and how to find out more if you want. Always Off Brand is a production of Quickfire LLC and a part of the Learn and Laugh series on the Quickfire Podcast Network. For more information, go to quickfirenow.com. Have a good one, and thanks for listening.
Just
Okay.
gotta
Sword.
make sure to get the questions right. Let me
This is
ask.
what you signed up for.
I'm fine with it. I can flow.
She knows
Honestly,
I'm right.
I always tell my husband, I'm like, I want to do a podcast, and he goes, okay. He goes, what would you talk about? And I go, well, I'm not really sure. He goes, that doesn't sound like a great podcast. I go, well, there's so many topics that I would want to talk about that I would
Yeah.
just kind of go off tangent.
Well, here you go. Here's your
Nothing's wrong with
opportunity.
that.
That's
You
why we're
can.
always off brand.
They're gonna be like, she ended up talking about cats, and
Oh,
we
is
don't-
that what you're passionate about? We can talk cats. I have a cat.